My belief is that we should be centering the voices and experiences of the most marginalized people and communities at all times. So when I think about what fat liberation looks like to me, it looks like centering the voices and the experiences of those who live in and who maneuver through spaces and institutions in a fat body. It looks like making accessible spaces and having conversations that are aware of the fact that people have different bodies and that they are interacting with space and people and institutions and communities in a different way. Fat liberation looks like fully embracing those differences and having those conversations instead of shying away from them. To learn more about fat liberation and the campaign for size freedom that Dove is supporting, visit dove.com/size freedom. Tap in, join the campaign, support the campaign. This is important and we should all be talking about it.
Well, what a story we have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. I know most of you will probably find this pretty laughable, but we all understand at this point we live in a victimhood society, right? Playing the victim, claiming to be the victim becomes more and more the norm. Well, introducing Zyahna Bryant, a BLM activist who we reported on a few days ago because despite the trouble she's caused in other people's lives, she was handed a partnership with Dove to promote I still can't say it with a straight face. I can't believe this is the world we live in. Fat liberation, yes, because we also apparently seem to glorify and glamorize unhealthy lifestyles. I wonder why that one is. I'll leave it up to you guys to tell me in the comment section below, but this caused a lot of controversy and Dove almost faced a potential boycott because Zyahna Bryant actually ruined another student's life a couple of years ago, Morgan Bettinger, over a comment she apparently made, but now Zyahna Bryant admits, well, I may have misheard her, with no apology, by the way. But then again, as I said last time, it doesn't matter what controversy you've been in, because as long as you align yourselves with leftist ways of thinking, liberal agendas, there's still a place for you with all of these brands. You want a brand deal? Hey, come here, we've got a place for you. But it seems like now Zyahna Bryant is playing the victim in all the controversy that she's been in. Yeah, as I alluded to at the very beginning of this video, because her cousin now, 6 days ago, set up a GoFundMe for her to make sure she can feel safe, protected, and continue to help marginalized people, don't know who she's on about there, and other communities. Yeah, before we get into this story, if you could, make sure to leave a like rating as it really helps out the video. If you're new, we're on the road to 60k, so hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video of me speaking out against today's madness. It's great, honestly. But let's get into this article. Zyahna Bryant's cousin launches GoFundMe to help BLM activist and Dove influencer who ruined white students' life to feel safe. A GoFundMe has been launched to make a divisive BLM activist hired by Dove as its fat pride spokeswoman to feel safe and protected. Zyahna Bryant's cousin Erica Chapman created the virtual begging bowl after Bryant was slammed online for ruining a white student's life over a remark the 22-year-old activist admits that she may have misheard. My cousin Zyahna has passionately and courageously supported important social issues since she was 12 years old. It's interesting, right, because the student who was actually involved with Zyahna Bryant, Morgan Bettinger, never set up a GoFundMe as far as I'm aware. She never asked for any money, she never begged for any money, yet here we have the instigator online asking people for donations. Maybe she'll do the same thing as BLM, because that seems to be the trend, right? Play the victim and then go and spend that money on expensive things. Who knows? Sadly, in today's national climate, with so many angry, violent, and unpredictable people, being a visible, outspoken advocate and activist comes with significant risks. Zyahna has been receiving hate mail and threats for years, and recently they have become worse. The fundraiser has received almost $10,000 of its $15,000 goal. Now, nobody should be sending hate and threats to an individual, right? We never want to see that, unfortunately. It just is the internet, you know, this is just social media. I'm sure there's many people watching right now who have experienced it in some way, shape or form. I would even argue the girl's life who she ruined, Morgan Bettinger, probably experienced it at one point as well. Yet no GoFundMes were set up, especially in a time, and this is probably still relevant today, it actually is still relevant today, where a group is very angry, violent and unpredictable. Interesting. But I'm sure you're all waiting for me to address the elephant in the room right now. Who is donating all of this money? $10,000, and that's still growing, by the way. Maybe liberals out there have been emotionally guilt-tripped so much they finally reached a point where they feel like it's time to pay some reparations. That's the only thing I can come up with at this point. To donate to something and you don't even know what your money's going to be spent on, it is absolutely insane. It kind of reminds me of another organization, Funny that. Zyahna is currently a graduate student, and we want to ensure that she is able to continue all of the work that she is doing in the classroom and in the community. The GoFundMe continues. We don't want to allow these racist attacks to take away from that. Please help Zyahna's friends and family support her by ensuring she's safe and protected as she continues her important work assisting and elevating marginalized people and communities. Bryant, however, appears to have no shortage of security support in place. Last week, she called the chief of Charlottesville Police, Mike Koches on dailymail.com, after a reporter arrived at her home and politely requested an interview. Chief Koches conceded we'd done nothing wrong. Bryant appears to have the top cop on speed dial despite vocally calling for the police to be defunded. Wow, that's odd, isn't it? To be part of a movement that is all about defunding the police, yet she doesn't mind having one on speed dial. Kind of goes against what you preach, doesn't it? To have the privilege of calling a police officer and they turn up right that moment, apparently according to the Daily Mail anyway, seems like all that protesting was a time wasted. Last month, Bryant had posted on Instagram a video declaring she was a Dove ambassador, how brave, and discussing fat liberation, a campaign to end the stigma of being overweight. Hashtag Dove partner. Fat liberation is something we should all be talking about, wrote Bryant. That's why I am partnering with Dove to support the work of NAA official and Flair for Justice in the campaign for size freedom. Tell us what fat liberation means to you using the hashtag size freedom and tagging at Dove to share your story. What compelling stories they will be too. In another clip, Bryant, who is proudly plus size herself, said, "My belief is that we should be centering the voices and experience of the most marginalized people and communities at all times." So when I think about what fat liberation looks like to me, I think about centering the voices of those who live in and who maneuver through spaces and institutions in a fat body. Oh well, brings a tear to my eye. But in all seriousness, I think this is pretty laughable, if I'm going to be honest, because she only just received a Dove partnership, right? Are you telling everybody that money wasn't enough? Are you saying Dove didn't pay you enough?
To learn more about fat liberation and the campaign for size freedom that Dove is supporting.
Now you need an extra $15,000, and anybody who's donating should feel embarrassed because, again, you don't know where your money's going. Seems like, again, they clearly haven't learned from the last couple of years, and as soon as somebody cries wolf, they're ready to splash the cash. Morgan Bettinger must be looking at this and thinking, what is going on? This is insane. What are people thinking? As we all are. But I guess, we have to say to round out this video, I hope she enjoys the money she gets. I hope she spends it on something useful, maybe clothes. I hear the new iPhones just come out. A new holiday could be on the cards as well. Who knows? But I'm willing to bet none of it will be spent on her actually being kept safe and protected as she's claiming she needs to be. Leave your thoughts down below on this one, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to hear your thoughts on this GoFundMe being set up, on Zyahna Bryant somehow claiming to be the victim in all this controversy. If you have enjoyed today, please, for me, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Share this video. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day. Stay safe. And I'm out.